Shalom, Shalom Israel. I am the brother Yawana from the Great Millstone, Arizona camp, coming back at y'all with Lord's will, another edifying lesson. First and foremost, as always, I like to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, our teachers. Shalom to you brothers pushing and teaching this truth across the four winds of this earth. And as always, peace, blessings, and many salutations be to you sincere Akyam wa Akwath, you brothers, along with you few sisters who are giving all diligence in these last days. Right, through the mercy and grace of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his only beloved begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, coming back with another update in prophecy, right, type lesson, man. This is breaking news, okay? And this is something that's not being very heavily reported on, you know, as it should be. Right, seeing that if this supposed strike, right, is to take place at these ports, you know, this is going to have a major impact, okay, on the U.S., right? And nevertheless, I'm going to start right here, and this is on CNBC.com, and it reads, the largest port on U.S. East Coast New York let me read that again. Largest port on U.S. East Coast, New York, New Jersey, begins preparing for what could be first union strike since 1977. It says, Port of New York / New Jersey executives tell CNBC they are preparing for a complete work stoppage by the International Longshoremen's Association, the largest North American union for maritime workers. The ILA represents over 85,000 port workers, and a strike would shut down 5 of the 10 busiest ports in North America, and a total of 36 ports along the East and Gulf Coast. Close to half, 43% to 49% of all monthly U.S. imports would be impacted, representing billions of dollars in trade, and logistic firms are preparing for contingency plans last used during the sea and 2018 tariffs. Currently, there is an estimated $34 billion in freight en route to these ports on 147 ocean vessels. All right, it says the ILA represents more than 85,000 longshoremen, and a strike would shut down 5 of the 10 busiest ports in North America and a total of 36 ports along the East and Gulf Coast on October 1st, right? So October 1st is not too far away, man. That's not even a week, right? You know, that's not even more than a week away, right? A couple of days. It says talks with port ownership broke down over the summer, and it remains unclear how much progress, if any, is being made. The ILA rank and file recently voted unanimously to authorize a strike, and the group which represents port management, the United States Maritime Alliance, recently stated that it believes the union has already made the decision to strike, right? Because really why they're going on strike is because they're getting paid, you know, what they call it low ball pay or low ball income, right? I believe they're getting the base pay, as we've seen on that video, you know, $39 per hour, working over more than 100 hours per week. Okay, so, you know, there was a discussion that was supposed to be made back in June, right? You know, an agreement, but, you know, that discussion and that agreement wasn't made, okay, which, you know, was further leading, these workers, you know, to go on strike. Because if I remember correctly, I believe it was around September 22nd to 23rd, the contract, right, had ended. It says Beth Rooney, port director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, told CNBC on Thursday that individual ocean carriers and terminal operators are announcing their ramping down of operations to avoid a pileup of containers. Let me go down. Let me go down a little bit. It says, according to Kepler, 147 vessels, a combination of container ships and roll-on, roll-off vessels, are en route to the East Coast and Gulf ports by October 1st, with 38 of those vessels headed to the port of New York, New Jersey. The total carrying capacity of the inbound vessels is 686,181 20-foot equivalent container units. The value of that freight is upward of $34.3 billion, based on MDS Transmodal estimate of $50,000 per container. Okay, so, you know, this, again, is major news, and, you know, it's not being very heavily reported on. But, again, the Lord said that he has set watchmen, pursuant to Isaiah, the 62nd chapter, in the 5th verse, or around the 6th verse. The Lord said, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silent, right? So our job is to report on these things, man, and blow the trumpet, Okay, because as we know, there's a lot of distractions going on right now, with P. Diddy and all these different celebrities and these, pedo rings that they got going on, that they've been had going on for the last couple of decades, man, right? Which a lot of us have already known about. But see, when major things start happening in the world, especially here in the U.S., they usually start putting out distractions, right? They start putting out celebrities and their business and what they got going on, so everybody pays attention to what they're doing, okay, and what's going on over here, but they're not trying to tell you what's going on over there, right? If that makes sense, okay. They ultimately keep your eyes locked in, on the left when you should be focused on the right. You see, but let me go down, right? And it says fear of supply chain congestion. Congestion levels are already being forecast by the maritime industry. Sea Intelligence has estimated a one-day strike by the ILA would take 5 days to clear. A 1-week strike in October could cause slowdowns until mid-November. 2 weeks would take you into January because of the congestion of ships and the backup of containers. See that? So just 1 day, right, of these workers going on strike is going to put things back, a week, right? 1 week is going to have things, pretty much it's going to cause slowdowns until mid-November. 2 weeks, right, is going to cause backups, until all the way into January, man, of next year. Okay, so this is a very, this is a very big deal. Okay, seeing as if this product that's in these different vessels comes to these ports and it isn't getting offloaded, okay, how are the truckers going to take the materials such as food, right, such as furniture and machinery, right, and product, how they're going to take it, right, and distribute it to to said stores, man, okay, which is going to cause a lot of problems, okay, just like if you have an irrigation system, and you put a blockage in one or two parts, right, that's going to cause, that's going to affect the rest of the system, man. You see? But let me go down. It says an analysis from Mitri estimates that a 30-day strike centered at the ports of New York and New Jersey could result in an economic impact as high as $641 million per day. In Virginia, an economic impact of $600 million per day is forecast, or roughly $18 billion over 30 days. Export impacts at Houston operations could reach $51 million per day and $41.5 million per day for imports. Transport companies tell CNBC they are continuing with their container diversions. Sego Logistics transitions some clients to the West Coast and is moving eastbound containers via transloading from the West Coast to help mitigate some of the congestion. Okay. And I got another article too right here, and this is on Newsweek.com. It says a port strike is looming over the U.S., Georgia chief says. It says a port strike. Let me go down. It says Griff Lynch, the CEO of the Georgia Ports Authority, recently warned that dock workers in some ports may soon be going on strike, but noted that a possible shutdown may only last for a few days. Right? Possibly. There's no telling how long. These 45,000 workers that are going on strike plan to be on strike. Right, so I guess we'll just have to see. It says we should probably expect there to be a work stoppage, and we shouldn't get surprised if there is one, Lynch told the Associated Press on Tuesday. The question is how long. Ports across the U.S. from Maine to Texas are bracing for a potential shutdown next week as the union representing 45,000 dock workers threatens to strike on October 1st. That's when the current contract between the International Longshoremen Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents the ports, is set to expire. So, correction, it was actually October 1st. That's when, the contract expires. That's when these, dock workers plan to go on strike. So again, correction, I said September 22nd. I was wrong. It says, let me read that again. That's when the current contract between the International Longshoremen Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents the ports, is set to expire. Negotiations for a new agreement have been stalled since June, so there hasn't been no, agreements. There hasn't been no negotiations, since June, man, which is a couple months back, right? Let's look at this damn thing right here. Let me see. I think that's it on this article. If it lets me, I don't know what this is in the background. It says a strike would bring operations to a halt at 36 ports responsible for handling nearly half of the nation's ship-borne cargo, right? So nearly half, or a little over half of this nation's or this country's cargo and goods, right, is going to be put on delay, Okay, and these ships, these 147 vessels that are en route to these different ports, man, are pretty essentially just going to be sitting there with no one to unload them and unoffload them. Okay, which again is going to cause, congestion, is going to cause a ripple effect of negative problems here in the U.S. Okay, so this again is major news, and ultimately, what is this going to lead to, man? If this strike does, happen, right, and these dock workers do, end up going on strike, let's say, for a month. Okay, we could see food shortages, we could see rationing, just like we did in the time of the C-19, right? It says Lynch oversees two of the busiest ports in Georgia, the port of Savannah, the fourth largest in the U.S. for container cargo, handling everything from consumer electronics to frozen poultry, and the port of Brunswick, the country's second busiest hub for automobile shipments. It says Lynch noted that he hopes the port can avoid a strike, saying the stark reality is they are not talking right now. While Georgia Ports Authority is represented by the U.S. Maritime Alliance, it does not have a direct role in the contract negotiations. When it comes to the potential duration of a strike, no one really knows for sure, said Lynch, who has led Georgia's ports since 2016 and has more than 30 years of experience in the maritime industry. I would think we should expect 4 to 5 days and hopefully not longer than that. And why not hopefully longer than that? Because the longer that these dock workers go on strike, the more ripple effect of problems it's going to leave around the U.S. economy and on the U.S. as a whole, right, on the people. It says businesses have been bracing for a possible strike for months, stockpiling extra inventory to fill their warehouses. According to Lynch, this preparation contributed to a 13.7% spike in container volumes at the port of Savannah in July and August compared to the same time last year. It says Georgia dock workers are working extended hours to unload ships and send them back out to sea ahead of next Tuesday's strike deadline. To keep up with the rush, the port of Savannah will keep its truck gates open through the weekend, including Sunday when they're typically closed. Right, so they're trying to pretty much brace for impact. Okay, but you see, 45,000 workers leaving is a major deal. And I have something right here too. If I didn't delete it, that is. Slovakia trucks right. I wish I would have saved it. It was a quick article, man, explaining what happens to truckers when there's no ports. All right, bear with me, Baba Kusha. It says, of course, matter of fact, let me see if I can get right here. It says, when there is no port activity, truckers can experience a number of issues, including reduced workload. If goods aren't being moved, some truck drivers may have reduced workloads. Idling, truckers may have to idle at ports while waiting for a strike to end, which can result in lost income. You see that? So nowadays, with the cost of living, man, people can't afford to be sitting and not earning no money. Okay, you see, so that's going to cause a lot of problems within the trucking industry, man, as well. It says traffic congestion. When operations resume, truckers may face traffic congestion near ports. Long lines and wait times. Truckers may experience long lines and lengthy wait times at terminals. Backlogs. Truckers may face backlogs of containers and increased uncertainty. Port delays can make truck driving less appealing due to increased uncertainty and unpredictability of work. So which that can lead, to a lot of people ultimately leaving, okay, and not even sitting waiting at those ports, man, waiting for their, trucks to get, reloaded, okay, because essentially if there's no dockers, there's nobody loading up these trucks. Okay, and if there's nobody loading up these trucks and there's no goods, no material, no product being distributed into these stores. You see, a lot of people think that, these food stores just have an unlimited supply of food and product in the back of the store. And I'll tell you right now, there's only so much that these different stores and these, grocery stores have in the back as far as stock. But it only takes maybe a couple of weeks for that stock and that inventory to run out. Okay, so what happens when there's no food, man? Well, guess what? They're going to start rationing what they do have to, pretty much stretch, the last few resources or the last inventory that they have. Okay, you see, but see, hey, this is all part of biblical prophecy, man. Okay, you see, let me read this. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4. And I'm going to read in verse 15 in the NLT. It reads, all right, the Lord said, you may bake your bread with cow dung instead of human dung. Then he told me, son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem, right? And this is going into the ancient times, what the Lord was doing, amongst our people, okay? Because they were constantly living wickedly. But, this is going to come in full effect across the whole land of America, man. The Lord said in 2nd Ezra 15. Let me get that real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Bear with me in verse. Let me go up verse 5. It reads, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. You see, those are the things in which Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is sending upon this earth. Okay, plagues, right? Death, right? The sword and destruction. But what is one of those things as well, man? Famine, right? A shortage of food, a shortage of water. That's what's getting ready to come to America, man. And if these 45,000 dock workers go on strike like they plan to, right? I mean, being that there has been no negotiations and agreements since June, right? Hey, this could very well, be this could very well be a major deal, man. For lack of better words, this could be, this could be a, this could leave a major negative effect on the U.S. Salaki, I'm getting a little excited, man, because hey, we're in some beautiful times, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai is speeding up the days, right? That's why more things are happening as we see. You see, it's like every other day, there's something, there's new information coming out about, something else, okay, which is further leading us into the end, right? Going back to Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 16, it says, then he told me, son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. It will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. The water will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away under their punishment. You see that? People are going to be rationing off, their food. They're going to be eating it fearfully because they don't know, how, when their next meal is going to be. So whatever meal they do have or food they have left, provisions, they're going to try to make it stretch and ration it out, right? Even the water, man, they're going to be trying to take a bottle cap, and trying to drink, a half a bottle cap a day of that water, man. You see, because there might not be no water. It says, lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away under their punishment. You see that? Lacking food and water, people are going to look at one another in terror, right? Because the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra 6 and 22 that the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? Because once again, if there's no product being brought to these truckers and their trucks being loaded up to take it and distribute through these different stores, well, that's ultimately going to leave a problem with the inventory in the stores, man. They're going to have to ration out what they have, and then once they run out, and people are going to start looting, because people are only going to ration for so long, man. And we've seen what that looks like in the time of the C1 crisis, right? Especially when it came to the fuel, and gas. People were hoarding up all that gas, and one dude had so much gas in his gas cans backed up in the back of his truck ultimately blew up, man. You see, people were hoarding gas, people were killing each other over toilet paper. You see, if people were killing each other over toilet paper and gas, how much more things that are essential to you, okay, like such as bread, such as water. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Principle thing for man's life. And like I said, man, I've been, keeping my eyes on the news, on Fox, even CSBC, CNBC, and different other news stations. And I haven't been seeing anybody report. They've been talking about this Hurricane Helene, if I believe it's called, that's been coming down, I believe, in the south. I have to do some more research on that. So they've been talking about a hurricane. They've been talking about Israel and what's going on over there. Okay, but this is also major news that should be being talked about. But again, as we know, that a lot of these things that happen that, were, very detrimental to the life and well-being of the average person here in America, they're not going to report on it too much. Okay, because they don't want the people to be afraid. This is Sirach 39 and 26. It says, the principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. And all these things, are being, are going to be restricted here soon, man. Okay, water, right, flour of wheat, right, clothing, oil, all these things are getting ready to be backed up, man. And ultimately, we're going to see a shortage of it, and then eventually we're not going to see it at all. Okay, so let me go up here, right, to the book of Ezekiel, right, chapter 5. Right, bear with me, Baba Krisha. And then I'm gonna go to the book of 2nd Ezra, Right, this is second Ezra, or not like second Ezra, Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 16. It reads, I will shower you with deadly arrows of famine to destroy you. The famine will become more and more severe until every crumb of food is gone. You see that? The shortage of food is going to get so bad, over time, to where there's not going to be food at all. Every crumb is going to be gone. And that's why, we need Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai in these times, man, because the Lord is the only way we're going to make it through. Right? The Lord said that his servants would eat and that his servants would drink. You see that, and Lord willing, we're of the elect, we're ultimately hoping, for miracles, man, for the aid from heaven, okay, because that's where our help comes from, and that's what we look to. You see, why everybody else is going to be looking to each other and looking to, different ways, to get through. All we're going to be doing as we do now is continue to call, pray, and trust in Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. It says, and along with the famine, wild animals will attack you and rob you of your children. Disease and war will stalk your land, and I will bring the sword of the enemy against you. I, the Lord, have spoken. You see that the Lord, is planning to bring, great death in the days to come, especially to you Israelites, right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, just as he's done before. Right? The Lord has brought famine upon our land. The Lord has sent enemies against us, the heathen. Right? The Lord has sent disease amongst us, and that the Lord's about to send all these plagues, times 10, in these last days upon the wicked of our people who refuse to get right. Right, that's why the warning is get right, man, before it's too late. Okay, before judgment comes, examine yourself. And that's something that we're trying to do to the best of our ability as well, because it's about to get real bad out here, man. Okay, let's go here to second Ezra 15. Right? And we're gonna go down to verse 19. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 12. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 12. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Egypt going into the people here, man. Right? America is, spiritually Sodom and Egypt, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, and these people here are getting ready to be mourning, man, just as it says, right, in second Ezra, it's the 16th chapter. So let me get that real quick, too. All right, this ain't no joke, man. That's why the Lord said to watch and pray. This is second Ezra chapter 16. And verse 37, it says, Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son. Within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Really, the whole world's getting ready to mourn, but especially here in America, man. Okay, because this place is the capital of wickedness on the earth. Right? Scriptures say the wages of sin is death, and that's why the Lord's about to bring so much death here, man, because there's so much sin, as it says, and also in 2 Ezra 15, man, wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Okay, and again, America is the capital of wickedness, on this planet. All right, and the Lord's preparing great judgments and also grievous deaths, unto you Israelites, man. You see? So let me go back. Right, 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 13, it says, They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among, which that's ultimately going into what? Race riots, right? Civil war, okay? Because ultimately that's coming as well, man. You see? It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see that? A man's not going to have no pity, no mercy on his fellow neighbor, man, but he's going to come up in their house, right? Take over their goods, right? And ultimately put them to death, man, so that they can reap their goods, reap their food, and reap the things that they have that they were lacking on. Okay, and why are all these things going to be happening? Why are people going to be killing one another, and stealing from one another? Because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's the time we're headed into, man. Right, a time when there's going to be, famines of catastrophic proportions, okay, of food and water, man. Right, because we're coming into a time of great tribulation, known as Jacob's trouble, pursuant to Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. Okay, and as we see this, as this potential strike is getting ready to happen on October 1st, this could again leave a very major impact on the U.S., man, right, and on the way that things operate here as far as business, as far as food distribution. Okay, everything's getting ready to change, man, and we've through the spirit of power, Yahweh Bashmel Shah, we've been warning you Israelites, man, as well as ourselves, right, to continue to get right, right, and stay right, because these things, one thing you notice is that shit starts to happen real fast, okay, nowadays, man. Because the Lord is speeding up the days, so while you people are over here worried about the next Super Bowl or the next whatever the hell you people are worried about, and worried about P Diddy, right, all these things that's happening around the world, right, because the Lord is bringing us further and further right into the end. Okay, so you people are worried about things within your own life and what you want to do and things you don't have, but yet we're heading head first into the most greatest time of terror that we've ever seen, and really that the world has ever seen and ever will see. Okay, and the Lord is orchestrating all of it, you see. So let me go here, because this is how bad it's going to be, man. You people are going to turn into cannibals. This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 19. It says, through the wrath of the Lord Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire. No man shall spare his brother. You see that? Like we just read, no man's going to have pity upon his neighbor. Right, when it comes to taking his goods, taking his wife, even his children, maybe. Okay, you see, because even children are going to get ready to be used, right, to be eaten, right, to be used as trade, even women too, man. Again, even when you read Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, the Lord talks about, all pride, is getting ready to be laid low. You see, because pride hath budded, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter, man, within men and women, especially of our nation. Right, but see, here soon the Lord is going to cast down all that pride, man. The Lord is going to bring great misery, pursuant to 2nd Ezra 8 and 50, right? Because people have walked in great pride. The Lord's getting ready to bring great misery, man. It says, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. You see that? People are going to be eating one another, man, because as soon as there's no food in the stores and people will loot the stores, and, like you see in World War Z, eventually people are going to be looking to each other. Okay, because if there's no food in the stores, the only people that have food is people, right? And once people don't have food anymore, people become the food, man. Just like you see them cartoons where a dude gets so hungry he looking at his best friend and he turned into a hot steaming rotisserie chicken. that's getting ready to happen, man. That's why, but what did King David say? I have been young and am not and am old, but never have I seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. So the righteous isn't going to be abandoned in this time to come, nor are they going to be having to beg for bread, right? Because the Lord is going to provide, man. You see, and that's the faith and the mindset that we have as we approach these times and we see, these things happening in the earth. Okay, we understand that the Lord warned us of these things, how that was going to come. You see, and some things we may not know exactly in detail how it's going to happen, but that's why we blow the trumpet and say, hey, get right, Israel. Because we're in some very heavy prophetic times, okay, and this could very well be a way, or I guess you could say an event the Lord uses, right, to orchestrate a catastrophic famine here in the U.S. Which at the end of the day we just have to see, but hey, our job is to blow the trumpet, okay. Well, when something's going on and we see it, hey, we're supposed to blow and warn the people, man, right? That's our job, okay. You see, hey, and dying of starvation and dehydration is no joke. That's one of the worst ways to go out. This is Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 9. It says, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. You see, that's better to just be slain down with a sword, or a modern day sword, a gun, rather than to have to sit there and die from, starvation, because your body tries to preserve itself by eating itself from the inside out. Right, so it's one of the most painful ways to go out, man, and that's really the lot of a lot of people on this earth. Okay, like the Lord said, I will send upon them the evil arrows of famine. That's what the Lord is planning to do. You see, this God that people talk about, that's all love. Hey, that's not the God of the Bible, man. The God of the Bible is a balanced power, right? He does show love, right, to to Israel, to Israelites that come back and worship him in spirit and truth, right? With a contrite heart and a broken spirit. But he sends wrath. The scriptures say mercy and wrath cometh from him in Sirach, the 5th chapter, man. So don't get it twisted. Don't think the Lord is just all nice, all loving, never can do no evil. The scriptures say he Isaiah 45:7. Let's get that too. Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. It reads, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You see that the Lord does all those things. The Lord is in control. All right, and that's what the average person doesn't understand. Right? They ultimately think Satan is doing every single thing bad in the earth. Okay, which really, even if Satan is behind it, hey, he has to get permission from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Read the book of Job, the 1st and 2nd chapter. Right, this is Amos chapter 3 and verse 6 in the NLT. It says, when the ram's horn blows a warning, shouldn't the people be alarmed? And you people should be alarmed, man. Okay, you shouldn't be sitting on sitting on your hands, twiddling your thumbs. You should be genuinely seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, and praying that he protect you and your family. Okay, because if the Lord ain't with you in these times, man, you're not gonna make it. It says, when the ram's horn blows a warning, shouldn't the people be alarmed? Does disaster come to a city unless the Lord has planned it? You see that? And ultimately, if they're being, looting and rioting, in the streets and chaos in the cities, that's all by design. Okay, but that will be considered a disaster, right? Even different, hurricanes and earthquakes that happen, that causes, major, death. Right, is not the Lord behind that? Well, it's a rhetorical question, meaning it answers itself. Of course the Lord is behind it, man. Okay, you see that? But see the Lord, but that making that point, how the Lord is behind, everything that's happening in the earth, especially, if these dock workers do end up going on strike for a while, right, and that causes disaster with it, across the U.S., the Lord is behind that too. Okay, the Lord, hey, you got people saying God bless America. The Lord's not trying to bless this place. The Lord's getting ready to destroy it. Right, but the Lord's going to destroy it from the inside, and then eventually he's going to come, with an aerial attack and finish it off with overkill, man. You see, that just as ancient Rome fell, well, hey, guess what? Hey, America's going to fall the same way, because America is the revival of the Roman Empire. You see, but let me go back. And I'm just getting ready to end it off, man, because like I said, I just wanted to blow the trumpet on this, okay? Because to me, this was very, major news, and I seen a couple brothers reporting on it as well. And again, I'm looking at the mainstream news, and of course they're not talking about it as heavily as they should be, right? Because they see that P. Diddy and what he's doing is a lot more important, right? Which at the end of the day, you still got a lot of more celebrities, rappers, singers, actresses, actors, and different high-ranked individuals in this world, still participating in those, explicit acts, man, those, wicked works, works of darkness. They're still doing it as of right now. You see, so that's not even really important, because the Lord's going to get them, regardless if they get reported on or not. You see, but, we need to be more concerned about, what's happening with this whole, port, situation. What's happening over there in the Middle East, because, hey, World War III is right around the corner. Just keep your eyes peeled, is the point, brothers, right, and you few sisters, man. Don't be so focused on this whole Diddy situation, right, or what the hell is going on, right, in the mainstream news. Why, do your best to stay updated in alternative news, and of course, stay updated within the ministry, and just, hey, let's do our best to continue to walk in the spirit, man. Okay, because, hey, time is running out, and our people are going to learn that, the hard way when it's too late, when time has run out. You see, but as we see these different things, taking place in the earth, hey, let's continue to seek our power, man. Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, with all of our heart, mind, and soul. So hey, with that, I do hope and pray this was edifying. I do have a video that I'm gonna play at the end of this video, Lord willing I can splice it together, but yeah, hey, Lord willing, again, this was edifying to you brothers and you few sisters who tuned in. As always, before I end off, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachach Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, our teachers. Shalom to you brothers pushing and teaching this truth across the four winds of this earth. And as always, till next time, Lord's will, I say shalom, stay strong, and keep the faith no matter what. Shalom.
What happens if our seaports go on strike? The strike is set for October 1st, so you better share this with everyone. Because if our ports close, everything we depend on closes with it. Let's talk about what would happen within the month of October. On day one, international fuel shipments are the first to feel the impact. Crude oil tankers stuck offshore means no new fuel entering refineries. By the end of the day, concerns spread across industries as gas stations, trucking companies, and airlines brace for immediate shortages. Everything from fuel to imported goods is at risk, but fuel becomes the most critical loss. By day 3, gas stations are starting to run dry and rationing begins. Prices surge as demand skyrockets. Without fuel, trucks can't deliver goods, and the first shortages show up in grocery stores. Businesses relying on imported oil, like refineries, scramble to maintain operations with whatever reserves they have left. The ripple effect starts to hit home. No fuel means no transportation, and without transportation, the flow of goods stops. Day 7, the energy crisis takes hold. Within the first week, the impact of fuel shortage deepens. Trucks, trains, and ships that move essential supplies across the country slow to a halt. Agriculture and manufacturing are crippled, unable to operate without fuel for machinery and transportation. Airlines begin canceling flights, and public transportation services are cut. Gas prices hit all-time highs as panic buying intensifies. By week 2, the power grid struggles and collapse looms. Power plants that rely on imported fuel start to struggle, and blackouts spread as they ration what's left. People begin hoarding fuel, and chaos erupts at the pumps. The stock market plummets as industries reliant on global supply chains begin to crumble. The economy falters, and unemployment skyrockets as factories close and businesses shutter. By week 4, total breakdown of society. By the end of the month, the energy crisis and fuel shortages bring society to its knees. Cities erupt into fuel riots, and law enforcement is overwhelmed. With no fuel, food distribution collapses, and starvation becomes a real threat. Communities are left to fend for themselves as fuel reserves dry up completely, leaving transportation, emergency services, and the economy in ruins. Without ports, crude oil can't get in. Without crude oil, fuel can't be made. Without fuel, everything grinds to a halt. When the fuel stops, America stops. And just so we're clear, this could all happen within the month of October. AP out.
Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh.